Sometimes it's good to just dance.
Welcome to the Good Stuff Family Podcast. I'm Dawn Kendrick, and I am so glad you're here. These are stories from the perspective of a news reporter on a next level assignment. Everyone has a story. Stories of hope, resilience, and how we believe God weaves people, relationships, opportunities, all of it for good. For many of us, faith leads our steps, others not so much. But that is what makes this growing Good Stuff family great. We know the journey is better together. Welcome to the family.
Got a suggestion. Sometimes it's good to just dance. Come along.
The power of harmony is a great example of the powerful effect of seeing the good in young men in prison. We're talking age 12 to 20, and then being the good for them. It's classic. The mission through music for Power of Harmony is helping to change the trajectory of young lives beyond the bars. And it's not just words. It's happening. It's happening. They're feeling purpose, and they're feeling that they have talent, and it's super cool to watch. But does it sound too good to be true to you? Does it sound too good to be true? I'm telling you right now that the power of harmony is working. And even just as importantly, it's growing, and you can be a part of it. And so this is why I am so glad to introduce you now to my friend, Dennis Harmon. How are you, Program Director of Power of Harmony and Good Stuff Dude?
Dawn, how are you? I love your intro music. Is that Carlos, by the way?
It is. See, he connects us. It's like pulling a string.
Yeah. Well, Carlos is iconic in Ohio when it comes to reggae, and actually was one of the performers for Power of Harmony when we performed for the youth there. So I was grooving to it. Yeah, he's the best. I love him.
My friend, I didn't even make the connection because he's been such an integral part from the beginning of the Good Stuff family. That's right.
Yeah.
We say God weaves. Now watch him work. Now look at when you start. It's like pulling a string with Good Stuff people. It truly is. It's how you and I met, and it's how we've met so many of these prisoners that formerly incarcerated, spend their lives, like Raymond Towler, who was unjustly accused even. But then you partner with him. They have a band. It's a perfect case in point of how one person can be used when God weaves. Would you agree?
Oh, I would agree, and I also believe the older I get, the more we connect.
True.
The degrees of connection, get smaller and smaller as I get older because I've been in this market for so very long. I've lived here my whole life, so all the people I know are connected to other people, and it happens. Yeah.
And we should say that you're in Cleveland, and
I am.
so you have. Tell us first, what is the mission of Power of Harmony, and we're going to talk quickly about how it's growing. Right off the top.
Sure, it's to use music to change the life trajectory of youth that are incarcerated. It's an opportunity for us to help them have a voice, to help them express themselves, to appreciate the therapeutic value of music. Music is our tool, so that they can feel more whole. I mean, we meet with them every week. In that hour they're with us, they've often told us that that's the best hour of their week because, as many have said, they don't feel like they're locked up while they're with us. They're expressing themselves, and they're having fun, and they're laughing and singing and dancing, and it's truly inspiring for us. It reminds us weekly why we're there.
And you have 3 in Ohio Juvenile Correctional. Tell us about what you have, and
sure,
who already are seeing what you're doing, taking note, and are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. So we launched in December 2019 at Cuyahoga Hills Juvenile Correctional Facility here in the Cleveland area. COVID got in the way in early 2020, but we found a way around that by live streaming into the facilities, and we shortly thereafter added Indian River Juvenile Correctional Facility in Massillon, and then Circleville Juvenile Correctional Facility, which is southeast of Columbus, Ohio, and we've been on board with them, as I said, since late 2020 and into 2021, and then we were able in 2021 to get in person. So we've been face to face with them since then in those three facilities. And then word kind of spread. The corrections industry heard about us. I have great connections throughout the country with choruses and specifically barbershop choruses, and have reached out to barbershop courses where we have an inquiry, and many of our instructors are members of barbershop choruses, who meet with the youth every week. So we have two instructors there every week for each session, and each of the teams rotates through, so no one is there every week, because it's a labor of love, but it's a lot of time spent,
And there
and
I mean, a lot of time and a lot of effort. So this is really a
oh
call
yeah.
for you, isn't it, Dennis?
Oh, it is. Yeah. You know what, Don? We never know why and how God puts people or opportunities in our path, and this is just one that happened at the right time in my life and in my career. It's become my full time job.
Mhm.
So this is what I do every day: is to build the program, to expand the program, to be sure that our instructors are prepared, to be sure they have the music they need, to be sure our students are having the experience we want them to have, and then fielding inquiries from other parts of the country, and frankly fundraising, because
So
it's
important.
not an inexpensive program to run.
I want to show a little clip here, okay? Just to get a taste. We have a few. I want people to really get a feel for what's happening here.
Sure.
Music is very healing. It's an emotional regulation activity. It helps with self-image, stress relief, even cognitive function that can lead to improved memory and learning skills.
It's an outlet, but it's also, it fits right into the soothing, to the skills that we're trying to teach kids, that music is something that can really soothe the soul and bring you down, regulate you, and so we love it.
And it's really opened my eyes to kind of the impact that music can have on every single person, regardless of musical ability and regardless of prior knowledge or education, or where they are in life. So it's been a really wonderful thing.
It sounds like a good program for everybody.
Yeah. Well, music is therapeutic. Let's face it. I mean, when we are in the car or in the shower, no matter where we are, music has a way of soothing us, and it takes us to different places in our life, different times in our life. So it has great impact. That's why so many people make music and so many people listen to it. It's that good. It's that important in our lives. It's a key cog. It really is.
It really is. When you think about what songs we have in our favorite playlists and stuff.
Oh,
I've been just getting ready for this. I had it blasting with the window open too.
of course.
Now the neighbors either really like my choice of songs or really wish I
Yeah.
closed the window.
Well, it was 33 this morning in Cleveland, so my windows were not open. It is officially fall.
Yeah,
So,
it's getting that way in St. Louis. But change is good. That's perfect. Like fall is a great reminder, a beautiful reminder that change is good. And that's what's happening in these lives. I want to show this clip before we get too far out ahead, because this is a real face of Xavier, who changed. He was a changed person. Let's listen.
Our goal is to help them continue making music on the outside by staying engaged with them and finding opportunities to channel their energy and creativity.
I would have probably ended up in crime, drugs, everything else, money, etc. But now, I realized how important music was and how far it can carry me.
I mean, that was not a paid
yeah.
endorsement.
Yeah, no. You know what? X is one of those kids that I knew from the moment he came to class that he was taking it seriously. Some it's an escape from the cell or from the unit, and they enjoy our attention. They enjoy that someone's visiting them. I mean, honestly, we could just sit and chat and they'd be happy. But he's a serious music guy. He writes. He's a good guitarist. He's got a very nice voice, and he's a thoughtful lyricist. He really is. He's come up with some great stuff. And I know that it's been life changing for him. That our investment in him has paid dividends, and I think it helped speed his release. I don't know the details of his release, but I know that they're very pleased with where he landed after his time inside and after working with us. So it's doing what we want it to do, for sure.
Amen. And there, we said earlier from 12 to 20. So what
Yeah.
can you give us a window into what types of crimes are they there for? Are we talking like a whole range, or what kinds?
Yeah, it is a whole range. They're most of them are felons, so it's armed robbery, rape, murder, any number of heinous crimes you could think of, unfortunately. So yeah, there are young men that have made horrible mistakes and horrible decisions. There are young men who, frankly, most of them are victims of circumstance. They were born into an environment that, to borrow a football phrase, put them behind the chains to begin with. They never really had a chance to start off life properly, and so and some of it is just trying to feed themselves and their families, and the fastest route is something other than a $15 an hour job. So yeah, it's real. It's real.
It is real, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. It's not all, we know that lives are being changed for the better, but the reality is that you could do so much more with some funding. So we're going to talk about here. I'll put this up for right now. If you guys want to donate, that's where they go, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll take you directly to the Harmony Foundation site and
Mhm.
to our Power of Harmony page.
So if you're listening in podcast mode, it's harmonyfoundation.org/power-of-harmony. That's how we can be part of what you started, and quite frankly. But let's explain, because I want to go back to the skeptic stuff, but I also want to explain to people that there's a bona fide program here. And these are four things that everyone could stand to get rooted in. The first one, education. Just give us a sentence or two about how that cornerstone is being met.
Sure. We meet with the youth every week for an hour. We try to meet them where they are musically, rather than jamming music down their throat that they don't want to sing or experience. So we collaboratively determine what we're going to work with them on, and we teach them to sing properly. We teach them to how to vocalize properly, how to sing in tune, breath control, all those kinds of things to make them a better singer. And interesting, most of them don't think they can sing, but everybody can sing. It's just expanded speech, really, with different notes.
How about a sample?
So,
No sample.
oh, come on, no, we're not going to do
All right, good. We want people to keep watching
that.
to the end.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Oh my gosh.
the
So,
next one is,
so that's the big part of it, and it is a weekly program in all the
yeah.
facilities we're in.
What about performance?
So performance, we bring live performers in every 6 weeks or so to do concerts for the youth in all the facilities. So the point of that is obviously the enjoyment of music, first off. Secondly, it's a great launch pad into Power of Harmony. It's an opportunity for me to speak to all the youth in the facility and say, here's a program we're doing, which is a voluntary program. If you'd like to be a part of it, see us on Mondays at 3:30 in the afternoon, or Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, or whatever it might be. So we give them an opportunity to check out some good music, and I really purposely provide a wide variety of music for them. So it's everything from our friend Carlos Jones and reggae to jazz, to Latin jazz, to rock, to contemporary a cappella, to barbershop, all kinds of things. So and they know it's coming. We promote right inside the facility, so they know when the concert's coming, and yeah, they want it. They really do. They appreciate that something's happening specifically for them.
And this
It's
is
not like they happen to be there with a bunch of other people. It's just for them. Yeah.
and I think that you just had a great setup, a great intro to show this clip.
Local and prominent international musicians are brought to the facilities to perform live. We expose our youth to a wide genre of music throughout the year, giving them an opportunity to interact with those who are not only the very best in the world at what they do, but also have an active, passionate interest in the well-being of those we serve.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I could see
It's
Carlos.
funny. I can't. Yeah, Carlos was in that. I, you can't imagine, or maybe you can, the impact this has on the performers as well. I have so many tell me, yeah, I was doing it because, okay, you asked me to, personal relationship, or yeah, I'm just curious. And then suddenly it's like, man, I'm so glad I did that. When can I do it again? Because it's really only about 30 minutes of music, followed by a Q&A, and there's great interaction. I mean, we had some wonderful sessions where they're understanding why someone got into music, what it takes to get into the music world, and how long it takes. Some of the guys that are singing with us think they're gonna leave the facility and go out and start a recording career. But we help them understand that there's more to it than that. Like anything in life, you got to work for it, and you have to have the right connections, and you have to have the right kind of person that people will invest in to get you to that next stage. So, that's kind of important. And Xavier is a good example. I mean, he's done some great work on his own, and you know, not all of them will. Part of what we do is engage post-release,
Mhm.
which is the most precarious time for them. Most precarious time for all those that were incarcerated. Reentry is very difficult because as a youth, think about it. Teenagers sometimes don't have a great rudder to begin with, but having gone through what they've gone through, it left their local community to go into this facility and then go back to that local community and try to change direction and try to regroup and not fall into the life they previously had is pretty darn challenging. In fact, the recidivism rate among youth in the United States is 60%. So every 10 that are released, 6 go back in, and ultimately back in the adult system, which
Right.
is pretty darn scary. Yeah,
And so as I hear you speaking, I think you mentioned Xavier. I want to just show this last clip, this final clip. And
yeah,
particularly one thing he said that really jumped out at me. You'll know what it is.
The important thing is that they walk away from the session feeling better.
I got a voice to me. Like I'm blessed for real. I'm blessed.
Life is rough, it's what makes you tough. Now, pick yourself back up, show them what's up. You already know.
The good news is that we see the positive impact that Power of Harmony is having on the youth we're working with on the inside, and the maturity and growth they're taking back into society. We're also very fortunate to have inquiries from all over the country for Power of Harmony.
Yeah, all over. We talked a little bit about that. Several states interested now. And it's because,
absolutely.
you know what I heard? You know what I heard? What did I hear Xavier say? I'm blessed for real.
Yeah, yeah.
How
It,
important is
it-
that in this ministry? We say it's a mission, but it's kind of a ministry, is it not? How so would you say?
yeah, yeah. It is. It is. I mean, we. I can't help but weave a little bit of faith into the program. I have promised in all cases and not jam religion down their throat. That's not really what it's about. But I don't mind sharing, what I believe to be, the realities of life, and that is that our faith is an important third leg of our stool, right? It helps to prop us up, and whatever their religion might be, or even their lack of religion, believe in something, some being, some power bigger than themselves that is guiding them and can guide them, and that they can rely on, they can reach out to. So I do share that. I mean, I really do. I really do, but I don't, it's not one of those things where we pause every week for me to share faith with them, or for our instructors to share faith with them. It's just something that if it has a natural flow. We had a young man, I guess about a month ago at Indian River, who was a regular in the program, but he wasn't participating that day. We were in the unit, so we are actually in their living quarters as opposed to being in a separate space, because they were understaffed and they needed us to go there so that they could, provide staff to be with us. And he was kind of pacing back and forth. So we called him over afterwards, and I said, "What's going on, man?" He says, "I'm in a really bad spot right now. So what's happening?" He said, "Would you guys pray with me?" And I looked at Maurice Martin, who's one of our fabulous instructors. And Maurice and I said, "Yeah, sure." So Maurice asked him, "Can I put a hand on you?" And he said, "Yeah." So Maurice put his hand on his shoulder, and we said, "So share with us what's your pain right now?" And he said, "I'm hearing voices that tell me to do harm to people, and I'm battling it, but it's powerful." And so we prayed with them, and we explained, "Hey, that prayer is a starting point, but we need you to get some help. So um, let's see what we can do to help you out here." So we reached out to some of the staff that are there, and they stepped in shortly thereafter to sit with him. But he's a great young man that I see potential in.
There it is.
Um,
Yep.
I don't think he is at peace the way Xavier is. I think, as he mentioned, he's battling demons, right? And I would say that there are more that fill that classification than those that are at peace and just hanging out and can't wait to go do something fun. I mean, they're battling stuff. They're battling addictions. They're battling environments. They're battling history. One said to me, "Hey, I'm working right now. I'm mowing some lawns and stuff. So that's great." And he said, "Yeah, I make 30 bucks or so per lawn." And I said, "That's a start. That's not a lot of money, but that's a start." He goes, "Yeah, except," he pointed to the corner, so I could stand in that corner and make 300 in the next 15 minutes. So I thought, what a powerful pull in the wrong direction, right? Um, so I didn't grow in that environment. I appreciate it. I recognize what it is, and I can't pretend to know what they're going through. All I can do is be empathetic
There it is. I
and
was just
and
thinking that word.
respectful of them, and know that, hey man, I'm an old guy from the suburbs who loves you and cares about you,
Mm.
and we're going to do everything we can to make our time together valuable, and want you to know that when you're on the outs, when you've been released, I can be there for you. If you're willing to connect, I can be there with you. And Xavier is one that is willing to do that, but they're not all willing to do that. Some are just headed back to wherever they're headed back to, and I told him I don't mind traveling. I mean, he's down in Marietta, so that's a pretty good hike for me. It's about 4 hours for me, but
Wow.
happy to do it. Happy to do it, and we still connect by phone and text and messenger and so forth. But face to face is really, because you can look him in the eye and you know call him if he's bluffing, and encourage him. And honestly, I know this is cliche, but they don't have adult men in their lives that are good role models. They don't have positive influences. And I'm not going to toot my own horn here. I mean, I can be, but just to give them something, let them know someone cares. That's a great first step, because a big part of this is they don't believe anyone cares. They've lost hope, and they have little joy when they're locked up. And it's not a knock on the staff or on the corrections industry. They're dealing with what they have to deal with. We serve 850 youth in the 5 facilities we're in. And those staffers have their hands full with lots of challenges. And all they can do is make it as positive as they can while they're with them, and then hopefully set them up for success on the way out. And each facility does something. I mean, they work hard at that. And our program is just a piece of that. But it's an important piece, I think, because it represents a way for them to get some therapeutic value of music while they're inside, and then transfer that to the outside. And I work hard to try to connect them with other singing opportunities, church choirs or men's choruses or whatever it might be. We've got a young man that was just released from Indian River, and I'm trying to connect them with some friends that are in the central part of the state that are singing in a chorus. I think he'll do well with them. I think he'll fit in well. So why not?
So it's positive
That's
networking. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Don. That's a huge part of it, and all of our instructors feel the same way. When we started, it was myself and 2 other individuals that were doing the teaching. I've got 18 instructors right now, not including me, and I kind of rotate around. I get around to all the facilities so that I can, make an appearance, see how things are going, talk, with the youth about what's going well, and some of them, wonder where I've been, so I have to explain to them, hey, man, I've been down in Texas, or I've been in Indianapolis, or wherever it might be. So, I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be around. So I think that's important too. Be who you are, and do what you say you're going to do. And
Mhm.
that has a lot of credibility when it comes to gaining their trust, which is huge. That
Mhm.
is huge. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
It's a process, and in listening to you speak in the last few minutes, it's not just the power of harmony then, it sounds like the power of prayer, the power of purpose, power that I mean, who doesn't want to feel like they have potential to be powerful in their own lives? I mean, we all do. It's like
absolutely.
innate. So the foundation that you're laying, whether or not you touched on the same questions I was gonna ask, like, they have to have trouble getting jobs. I gotta imagine the family foundation isn't the greatest for when you've come out. All these kinds of things, the responsibilities financially. What you're saying is we can turn the tide and we believe in you. It seems so simple, Dennis, but you need people on board, right?
Yeah, yeah, you absolutely do. And all of our instructors are prepared and willing to help when the young men hit the outside, and that's important. We also have mentors that don't get into the classroom with us that are prepared, but I believe that, for the youth to really take advantage of it, they have to trust whoever they're working with. So usually it's the instructors because they know them, they see them every week, and they recognize that they're there for their good and their benefit.
Mhm.
So they're more inclined to allow us to contact them and to stay connected.
And so if people want to help these partners that you have who are already believing in what you're doing, we gave out the Power of Harmony. It's harmonyfoundation.org. But here's a QR code, right, where they can directly donate. Is that correct?
Absolutely, that'll take them straight to the donation page. Exactly,
And why,
which is
again,
helpful.
yeah. Why so important to have more people on board when we keep in a world where we feel like we can't do anything, the truth is we can do little bits. And Michigan,
Sure.
Florida, Utah, New Jersey, Arkansas, all of them are watching what you're doing and paying attention. So tell us just a sentence or two about the importance of the support.
Well, Don, the key is that I we pay all of our instructors and we pay all of our performers. We pay the instructors a stipend plus their out of pocket expenses, and we pay the same to the performers. We meet them on a rate of pay, and then we cover their transportation to and from the facility. So our estimated cost per facility per year is $30,000 to sustain the program. So quick math. I'm in 5 facilities. That's $150,000 a year, and as I add a facility, it's 30,000 per. Um, I'm very fortunate. We are very fortunate that we have an angel donor that believes in what we're doing and has underwritten my personal compensation and my expenses so that every dollar we raise goes directly into the program. So some of the programming includes, buying music, the rights to use music, and things of that nature. But a lot of it is just to take care of the people that are in there. And that's not to say we don't have some that say, you know what, don't worry about my fee, because we do. Every facility has somebody that says, I'm not worried about being paid. I just want to be there, which
Hmm.
is certainly their prerogative. Um,
That's layers. You've got the angel donor. There's always layers of good stuff. So
Right. And probably our most celebrated contributor is Josh Groban. Josh Groban has been on board for 3 years now. Certainly a nice big name that we can hang out there and let people know that Josh is on board. I'm trying to leverage that relationship with others,
Find Your
and I've
Life
been very
Foundation.
fortunate. Yeah,
Find Your
Find Your
Life
Life Foundation,
Foundation. That's what
exactly.
it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Groban.
Big believer, and we have a number of others that I won't put on the spot now by naming them, but we've got some significant celebrity musicians, especially, that believe in what we're doing and want to help us. And that could take the form of a lot of things. It could be, benefit concerts. It could be visiting the facilities. It could be fundraising. It could be just going public with their support, which is equally valuable. So we have felt from the get-go, Dawn, that this program has enormous potential nationally,
Mhm.
which is why I turned to Harmony Foundation with it.
Yep.
And we have great connections around the country so that we don't have any issues finding people to instruct beyond the various barbershop courses that contribute. And we have members of 5 different barbershop courses that are participating as as educators or performers. But I also have Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia Fraternity, which is a music fraternity. And they have a service component called the Mills Music Mission. So I've reached out to them nationally. I've spoken at their national convention, which actually was in St. Louis a few years ago. And I am now talking to provinces and chapters at the collegiate level about getting involved with us as performers or instructors. It's a great opportunity for them to test their wings as educators, to perform for an audience outside the college, for example, and to satisfy their service initiative. So
Yeah,
it's
those are the
it's
last two
great for it.
cornerstones. We've already talked about
Yeah,
them, but
yeah,
after education, which we talked about, then comes
yeah.
performance. But you were
Right.
talking about mentorship. Some people just want to see the good in others and be the good, to be able to mentor, and then participation. Those are great cornerstones.
Yeah. So the participation piece is about the youth performing. And we, in every facility, they now form ensembles within the facility, and they perform at the facility.
Yeah.
So when I bring
Wow.
a professional performer in, we block out time for the ensemble to perform. We perform at graduations, so
Yeah.
they'll sing a song or two at graduation. The other day, we had one of the youth, the one that's headed down to Central Ohio, said, "Hey, we're going to be able to perform here before I go. I get out on October 1st." I said, "Man, I don't think I'm going to be able to get someone in here that quickly." We said, "What if we perform here in the unit?" So I called the unit manager and I said, "Can we do a concert here next week?" She said, "Yeah. What do you need?" I said, "A microphone, access to the drums, and we're good to go. The rest is a cappella." So that's what happened. The
Wow.
very next week, he performed. The group performed for their peers in the unit, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. It really was very cool.
And people want to get on board at all levels,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I can't thank you enough. For anyone
Oh, thank you.
listening, what does this have to do with you if you're listening? You don't have someone who's incarcerated. For me, it's hope. It's hope in that as the headlines swirl around, the truth is there are people doing good things, and that's you. My good stuff dude, friend. I like that title better than any title. I've known you for years and I see your heart. So I thank you. And is there
Oh, my
anything else
pleasure.
that you'd like to add as we wrap this up?
You touched on it just a moment ago, and that is, why would someone support a program that's in the prisons as opposed to something that's down the street from them, their community activities? And I would say that first of all, you have to recognize that it's life changing. Um, I can go sing on the street corner, and people will walk by, and they might toss $1, and they might not. They might enjoy the music, they might not. But I guarantee you that we are changing lives. I see it and feel it every day we're there. It's the return on investment that I get, especially when I see folks like Xavier on the outside flourishing. I recognize that we got to him, that he embraced the opportunity and he did something with it. And so, if you feel like you want to be someone who can help change lives but can't go in and volunteer at the facility or are not a performer to go in, this is your way to support us. And reach out to us if you know someone that's incarcerated, you've been in that situation yourself. And that's ironically a lot of the performers that I connect with were formerly incarcerated.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
and
So it's
and
like
they're saying, "Yeah, how
literally,
can I
I
help?"
know I've
Yeah,
been there, done that, not just don't listen to me,
yeah.
like I've been there. Yeah.
Well, our good friend Raymond Towler,
Yes.
said from the get go, and Dennis Haygood and and Jackson, those guys are all. They said, "Listen, if it wasn't for music, I'd be dead."
Mm,
And it's true. And actually, Xavier said that in my interview with him. He said, "Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for music, I'd be dead. Well, I don't, I've got something else to invest in now."
yeah.
And they got through Raymond, 29 years of incarceration, and between his fine art, as an artist and his music,
Mhm.
I mean, he kept himself upright through all of that. And I, to this day, tremendous respect for him as a person,
Yeah.
um, and as a friend.
And you know what I'm gonna do in the comments? I'm gonna include that original story I did with him because you can see that
Yeah,
artwork, and All right. Well, 1,000 thank yous to you. I appreciate your
Always.
time. I appreciate your passion, and I appreciate your heart to see the good in others and be the good for them. And we started out at the beginning saying, God, we just don't want to work with the Carlos connection. I would end this right now by pointing out another mantra of ours: together we can, together we will. That's
Amen.
what you're doing. And I love you for it. And God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too, Don. Appreciate it.
There's no stopping us now.
Oh, no.
Sometimes it's good to just dance.
You've been listening to Don Kendrick's The Good Stuff Family Podcast. If you found inspiration here, would you click subscribe, follow, share as we grow our Good Stuff family tree? Check out thegoodstufffamily.com for links to all our social media platforms and for how you or your business could sponsor a story. The Good Stuff Family, reaching and touching hearts around the world by weaving families together one story at a time. On your mark, get set, let's go.
Well, I got a suggestion. Sometimes it's good to just dance. Come along. And sometimes it's good to just dance.
You've been listening to Don Kendrick's The Good Stuff Family Podcast. If you found inspiration here, would you click subscribe, follow, share as we grow our Good Stuff family tree? Check out thegoodstufffamily.com for links to all our social media platforms and for how you or your business could sponsor a story. The Good Stuff Family, reaching and touching hearts around the world by weaving families together one story at a time. On your mark, get set, let's go.
Well, I got a suggestion. Sometimes it's good to just dance. Come along.